Like the spatula? I like the spatula. That'd be funny. Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Football 101. I am giving information to my non-football watching friends so that they don't get bored in the middle of the season and they stay interested. It's also more fun if you guys kind of know what you're doing, so that's why I'm doing this. This will be a slightly longer video, so strap in and don't let your TikTok brains kind of take over. You got this. I believe in you. Last video we went over lineups, but how do we even get players on our lineups? Well, you need to add them to your roster through the draft. We'll be meeting in person a few weeks before the actual NFL season starts to draft our players for our rosters. It'll all be online, so all you need is to bring either your phone, laptop, or just a tablet is fine too. Once the draft starts, we'll go one by one through a already curated list to add players to our roster. Everyone, when it's their turn, has at most about 90 seconds to pick a player for their team, and then it's on to the next person in that round. Every player available for you to add will be listed in an average draft position for this list. They are in order of ADP, or just average draft position, so that'll help you during the draft. You can just go off that to make your picks if that's easy for you. That's what I do. So through the draft, you can filter by position, star players that you would want in the future of the draft, or see what you have already drafted to see what else you need. The draft will be what's called a snake draft. This means that our teams will be picked from the first to last. So team 1 was going to pick the number 1 overall pick through team 10 is going to pick the number 10 overall pick. But it's a snake draft, so that means it'll reverse the next round. So team 10 will get the number 10, but then team 10 will go first the round 2 to get the 11th overall pick. Team 9 will get the number 12 overall pick, and then so on. This will snake down all 15 rounds until everyone has filled up their rosters. You'll notice at the beginning of the draft with the ADP, the list is mostly full of wide receivers and running backs. This is because most of your team will be filled with mostly these positions. These positions are usually high value players because they give you the most points and there's a lot to go around, so you want to get the best of these positions. The strategy is usually you get your wide receivers and your running backs, and then you move on to positions like quarterback or tight end. It's typical to draft a QB or tight end in the 4th to 7th round once you've already established wide receivers and running backs, and then you would get backup tight ends and quarterbacks later in the draft. My strategy is usually to pick my first 2 wide receivers and then first 2 running backs interchangeably throughout the first 4 rounds, and then I would get my quarterback and tight end. Of course, depending on how the board falls. If I see a good quarterback that I think I really want, I'm going to get that too. And that's what you could do too. If you see someone that you really want, then you go grab that player. But also a reminder that Kinsey last year picked Travis Kelce, a tight end, in the 3rd round, and that killed the rest of her season. So precautionary tale. I also recommend drafting your defense and your kicker very late into the draft. It is much better to get valuable skill position players throughout the draft rather than spending your 8th or 9th pick on kicker and defense. Well, you could get better wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends, running backs. You'll most likely only have one of each, defense and kicker. So why spend an earlier draft pick when you'll get basically the same value if you spend them on your last 2 or 3 picks. Now, last thing I'll go over are buys. You'll notice in your roster and throughout the draft that there's a number next to every single player under buy. That is the week that player is not playing because their team is not playing that week. You have to consider drafting players with different bye weeks while you're drafting so that your roster can remain strong and not have as many weak points. If you have 5 players that have a week 6 bye, that means they'll suck that week. So you have to try to spread them out as much as you can. And that's basically it. I'll be with you during draft day if you have any questions, and I can help you out, obviously. A lot of people here know that from the last 2 years. So if anything's confusing you or if you need any help, don't worry. This is just a precautionary or even a reminder for people so that we can have the best time possible. The draft is my favorite part of the entire season just because everyone gets so hyped for their players. Yeah, it's a really good time. And also the app itself is very intuitive and helpful, so that'll help you too. Okay, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.